Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, February 9th. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 77 degrees in San Antonio today. Enjoy the warm weather while you can, though. A cold front moves in Wednesday to start a run of chilly days that will include a blast of Arctic air Sunday into Monday, according to the National Weather Service. The Senate launches Donald Trump's historic second impeachment trial today, with lawyers for the former president insisting he is not guilty of inciting mob violence at the Capitol to overturn the election, while prosecutors say he must be convicted of the most grievous constitutional crime, even though he's gone from the White House. Also today, Bexar County Commissioners Court is set to discuss workforce training and the county's federal and state legislative agendas in a virtual meeting set to start at 9 a.m. And now let's move on to the top stories for the day. Martin Phipps, a prominent local attorney and owner of a swanky downtown cocktail lounge, was arrested Monday by the San Antonio Police Department, according to three sources familiar with the matter. 51-year-old Phipps was arrested on suspicion of telephone harassment, a Class B misdemeanor, following a complaint involving a woman from a previous romantic relationship, according to the source. Phipps' arrest on Monday follows the high-profile resignation of several people at his law firm, including T.J. Mays, his law partner and former chief of staff to Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolff. On January 8th, Mays and 5 other employees at the firm gave Phipps a letter demanding immediate measures to cure the hostile work environment, according to a copy of the letter obtained by the Express News. Emily Eaton has everything we know about the case so far in her latest article. San Antonio students who have received special education services leave charter schools at higher rates than traditional public schools, according to a new study from the University of Texas at San Antonio's Urban Education Institute. Over 12 years, kids change schools in Bexar County at a rate of 18% in any given year. But the mobility rate was higher among charters, according to the study. The study also links the moves to a search for special education services. The study's author believes changing schools can harm children's education as they adjust to new settings. He also thinks the higher mobility rates associated with charter schools support calls for greater state oversight. Krista Torava explains why advocates for the charter industry criticize the study. Homeowners associations in Texas would be barred from restricting property owners from putting up religious displays in their yards under a new bill filed in the Texas legislature. State Senator Paul Betancourt, a Republican from Houston, called their legislation a slam dunk and said some homeowners associations have gone too far in hassling property owners about their religious expression. But critics say the legislation has a problem. Jeremy Wallace has everything you need to know about SB 581 in his latest article. Elena Ayala writes, quote, "Officials of the San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo weren't taking questions Monday about their plan to put 3,800 people inside the Freeman Coliseum for each of its 14 performances, all potential superspreader events. While rodeos in Fort Worth, Austin, and Houston canceled rather than risk infections and overwhelming hospitals, San Antonio's is barreling towards both, with one rodeo official hinting of what's to come. On local TV, he wore his mask under his nose. He was oblivious. The rodeo's need to go on with the show isn't admirable, no matter how many scholarships it gives away. It's defiantly looking past families still grieving the deaths of more than 2,300 county residents. It shows complete disregard for the reality of the crisis." You can read Elena Ayala's full column over at expressnews.com. One year after evacuees from Wuhan, China began a 14-day quarantine at Lackland Air Force Base, the Alamo City continues to grapple with the relentless coronavirus pandemic. From a citywide shutdown to virtual learning, we have a look back at all the major moments over at expressnews.com. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside of your Express News subscription. Texas is working with the federal government to open vaccination super sites that could administer upwards of 5,000 COVID-19 vaccines per day, according to Governor Greg Abbott. Houston and Dallas will likely host the initial 2 sites. Texas Representative Ron Wright, a 67-year-old Republican from Arlington, died Sunday from COVID-19, according to a statement from his congressional office. He is the first sitting member of Congress to die of the virus. Repairs and cleaning of the Alamo's Long Barrack will soon begin as conservation experts determine the best way to preserve one of the oldest buildings in Texas. Roof repairs at the Mission-era structure began Monday and are expected to be completed by Friday. San Antonio officials downgraded the coronavirus risk to residents to moderate on Monday, as the winter surge has continued to loosen its grip on the city. The infection rate declined to 61.3 cases per 100,000 people, down from 103.4 at the height of the surge. The city of San Antonio has issued more than 5,000 warnings and 455 citations for violating the coronavirus emergency declarations, according to an enforcement report. We're keeping track of all the citations over at expressnews.com. Police have arrested the woman accused of fatally shooting 34-year-old Martel Daroon, a rapper related to Beyoncé, at his La Cantera area apartment last month. Because Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, customers who bought Akaushi semen from Heart Brand Beef got their pricey purchase for free. Jim McIngvale, also known as Mattress Mac, gambled again with the massive Super Bowl bet and a free furniture offer for Houstonians, and won. Read more about his $3.46 million bet on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Morgan's Wonderland, the San Antonio theme park accessible to special needs children, will reopen March 5th after nearly a year-long shutdown because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have everything you need to know about safety protocols over at expressnews.com. The race is on to see which companies and countries can produce the greenest fossil fuels, and Texas is falling behind, writes Chris Tomlinson. Check out his full column over on our website. Renewable energy, such as wind and solar power, is expected to surpass natural gas as the predominant source of U.S. electricity generation by 2030, according to a new report from the Energy Information Administration. The family of a black man who was killed in San Antonio by police in September said they were left with more questions than answers after seeing body cam video of the incident for the first time last week. Why is it hard for some to delay events during this pandemic? The Express News editorial board writes, quote, "Even a scaled-down rodeo, attracting about 4,000 people daily, is a threat during a time when most people have yet to be vaccinated." Read the full editorial over on our website. Having watched Derek White's heady approach to the game for 3+ seasons now, his Spurs teammates have not been surprised by his quick reacclimation after a month-long layoff during a toe injury. James Jemino was in the 8th grade when he tricked friends into thinking he was good at playing the drums on the Rock Band video game. They urged him to try the real thing. When bands started inviting him to join, he had to learn quickly and started taking private lessons. Now, the native New Yorkers' jam sessions are becoming a common sight along the museum reach of the Riverwalk at West Josephine Street. Jemino began practicing outside in October as a courtesy to his neighbors and his girlfriend. He didn't want to disturb them, and it's not an option to play in an apartment. Read more about his favorite places to play and his place in San Antonio's history of public musicians in Vincent T. Davis' latest San Antonio Stories column. Whether cooked in a slow cooker for street tacos, braised like pot roast, or smoked like brisket, you're in for a tender, flavorful treat. In this week's Chuck's Food Shack, Chuck Blount shows you how to cook beef tongue, also known as lengua, at home. Started just 3 years ago, Black Restaurant Week has become a full-blown citywide celebration of Black food and entrepreneurship. This year, it benefits the San Antonio Food Bank. You can find a list of participating vendors over on our website. David Hinojosa has his final rankings of the season for girls basketball and boys basketball on the last week of the regular season. He also catches you up with the action from the past week to see who took home game balls in girls soccer and boys soccer. DeJounte Murray turned in the game of his life with 27 points, 10 rebounds, and a career-best 8 steals to help the Spurs erase Steph Curry's heroics and emerge with a 105-100 victory. Head over to expressnews.com to check out the 3 takeaways from the win over the Warriors. And that's all for today. This was your Express Briefing for Tuesday, February 9th. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside of your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.